Hello YouTube, Blank CD here, and today I'd like to talk about the ACW-R, but first let me take a sip of my coffee. It was funny this morning when I was making my coffee. I thought it was done, so I pulled the pot out, and then my coffee machine started peeing all over the place. I was like, so I threw it back in, but the damage was already done. There's already coffee all over the hot plate or whatever it is. For the next, 5 minutes, I just heard and steaming and but the coffee tasted good. So anyways, ACR, or should I say ACW-R, or Adaptive Combat Weapon Rifle. Anyways, why I'm talking about it today is because this is another one of the guns that is coming back in Battlefield 4, and in Battlefield 3 it's one of my favorites. It's a really fun gun to use. It's definitely not the best weapon. It's definitely really good in certain aspects, but it gets outshot by a lot of stuff. I don't know. I mainly use it because it's really fun, and I think the ACW-R is a really sweet weapon in real life. Alright, so let's look at its stats. Its RPM clocks in at 850 rounds per minute, fires at 500 meters per second. It has a left pull of 0.1, a right pull of 0.3, and a vertical pull of 0.2, with a 2.5 times first shot multiplier. Its ADS spread while not moving is 0.3. Now its damage is kind of interesting. Unlike most carbines that have the 25 to 14 damage model, the ACR does a maximum of 20, but then it falls down to 16.7. So up close it does less damage than all the other carbines, and then at range it does more, except for the Scar H. So it works sort of like the AS-Val, where the damage is very consistent. Then reload time, its short reload time is 1.85 seconds, and long is 2.5. Alright, now that we have all the formalities out of the way, let's talk about what they mean for the ACR and why it's a great weapon. So, firstly, the damage model makes it sort of ineffective up close. However, it's still definitely a contender up close because its rounds per minute is 850, which is pretty fast. But the damage model is interesting. It's less than assault rifles, so assault rifles still sort of outclass it, but it's a carbine, so engineers get it, and it's one of the few weapons that engineers get that is actually effective at range, because most of the other carbines are mainly effective up close. Now, other than slapping a heavy barrel and using this thing to be an engineer sniper, another really great way to use this weapon is with a suppressor, because the suppressor affects this gun less than others. So, and what I mean by that is because of its damage model, the suppressor has less of an impact on its damage, because this gun is almost always a 5 to 6 shot kill, and the suppressor, it's still a 5 to 6 shot kill. It's just the range at which that changes is a little bit different. The biggest hit the suppressor actually has on this gun is its bullet velocity, because it's already at 500 meters per second, which is pretty good, but the suppressor just murders the bullet velocity of every gun, because, I mean, that's just how it works. So, when you do put a suppressor on it, which is how I like to run it, just because I like the suppressor, even though it murders the stats, I think staying off the minimap isn't completely invaluable. When you do run the suppressor on it, it actually becomes a really great flanking weapon. Not so much at range, but comboed with its really fast reload speed, it's really effective at getting around enemies and getting behind tanks, you know, since you're an engineer. And since it's accurate, it kind of plays a role similar to the AS-Val, but a little more rounded for other situations, because the AS-Val has a very specific kind of area that it's good at, but the ACR is sort of like that, but it's a little more adaptive. Adaptive combat rifle. But either way, I'm really excited for this gun in Battlefield 4, because, as you probably know, the carbines, along with DMRs, are going to be universal weapons, so any class will be able to use this gun, which I just think is amazing, because it always felt like, I don't know, the carbines were always just less effective assault rifles, so I never really liked to play engineer, because I always felt like I was just a little less effective, which I guess balances out because the engineer is really good at destroying vehicles. But I don't know. I think it's really cool that the carbines are going to be on all class, because then, you know, you can have recons running around with the ACR or supports. I think those two classes are going to be the most interesting in Battlefield 4. Just being able to use carbines and DMRs, like a support with a DMR, like that just sounds nuts. But then I was thinking, you know, the assault class is also going to be able to use carbines, and since the carbines are kind of just not as great assault rifles, I was really wondering, like, are they going to change up the role of the carbine in Battlefield 4, or are they going to keep it kind of the same? Because if it's the same, I don't know, I think the only reason to run a carbine on an assault class then will just be kind of, you know, for the fun of it. But, you know, what if they make carbines more effective at either close range or... Well, I guess it'd probably have to be close range, but, you know, and then the assault rifles are all better at long range, but less effective at close range, because there's a lot of assault rifles being added in the game that actually have really slow RPMs and seem to be, like, more long-range weapons. Except for, like, the AEK and the FAMAS, so, I don't know, that might kind of break it, but the carbines might turn into, like, the all-around useful close-range medium class. And then I was thinking, you know, when Battlefield 4 comes out, there's going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 weapons that are just really overpowered, you know, just the guns that are just better at what they do than the other ones. And I was thinking, what if, when the game comes out, the OP weapon is a carbine? Like, how crazy would that be? Like, think about Battlefield 3 now. It's always been, you know, the M16 or the FAMAS for, like, 3 months. But, you know, it's always been the assault class that has the OP weapon. But what if it was a carbine? You know, a universal weapon? And I was thinking, like, that would almost be a good thing, because then any class could use the OP weapon. And I mean, it's not good that it would be overpowered, but I think it'd be really interesting if carbines were the new all-around good weapons, and then each class had weapons that were specifically good for certain situations. So yeah, guys, if you like this video, remember to like, comment, and if you want to see more, subscribe. And until next time, guys, keep it Coda.